very good afternoon to you and welcome to Cork and to Páirc Uí Chaoimh here at the headquarters of the Cork County GAA on this Sunday, the 29th of October, the last Sunday of the month, the date of the Cork County Senior Football Final. And in your shot there in front of you, you have a battery of photographers taking the pictures of the St. Finbarr's team, the city representatives in this afternoon's final. And here come the men from the west, the men from Castlehaven, in their blue and white hoops, and they of course bring perhaps with them the support of all the county section of Cork, if that's the fair way to say it, because I think everybody from the country would certainly wish that the Castlehaven Stars would be the ones to prevail here this afternoon. They of course come here having defeated in the semi-final to Hallow, and they bring with them, let me tell you, a massive support in the estimated crowd of 11,000 people here on a wet, rainy afternoon in Cork. Earlier this morning we had torrential downpour, and I'm sure the officials here in Cork had thoughts of abandoning this match at one stage, but thankfully the rain that fell in the county area did not quite fall here in the city, and in the city area conditions are somewhat better, and I was on the pitch a little earlier and it was indeed surprisingly good underneath. Already one game has been played here, the curtain raiser between Ahada and Shamrocks, and as you can see looking at the pitch, very little damage was in effect done to it. The wind today blowing quite stiffly again towards that Blackrock end from right to left as the Castlehaven players arrange themselves in this photograph that they hope will be, well, hope that it will be put on every wall in West Cork in the future, because today might well indeed be the day at last when they, the small club from Southwest Cork, can indeed win the county senior football title and prove that, yes indeed, the small little village does have a place in Cork as well. I understand that down on the ground down here underneath us here, Paddy Palmer is talking to some nice people.
I think it'll be a very close game. I mean, any teams that get to the county final, obviously it's going to be very close. They have to be respected. It should be a very good game. I reckon at the end of the day there'll only be a point or two between it.
Going back to 1979, how does today compare with that day?
Well, I suppose we have to allow for the passage of time. It's a different ball game to start with. The conditions then maybe were better than now. We have a few survivors from that era. They are still playing well. Some of them were quite youthful at that time. We feel if we get a few early breaks, if we avoid making mistakes, that we should be there throughout. And a bit of luck then would decide it.
Ricky, Seamus O'Leary be a bit of a loss?
I suppose it's a bit of experience would be a loss. He's an experienced player. Conor Manny came in as substitute a couple of last week against Nemo, and he played very well. And I think Conor will do just as good a job as Seamus.
Gentlemen, thank you both very much, and the very best of luck to you both today.
As we come back from the mentors, indeed, of course, they are pensive and having a little problem. The Castlehaven players get some shooting practice in, but we'll start and have a look at the St. Finbarr's team, and we will go through them, and they have in goal John Kearns. The full back line is John Cremin, Gene Desmond and Conor Mahoney. The half back line is Michael Slocum, Noah Leonard and Michael Carey. Centre field, Christy Ryan and Eric Barrett. The half-forward line, Tony Leahy, Dave Barry and Kieran McCarthy. And the full forward line is John Griffin, John Allen and Michael Barry. That is the men that the Bars will hope will win for them the county title here today. Meantime, we'll have a look at the Castlehaven team as they kick around down there at the city goal, as it's called here in Cork. And in goal for Castlehaven is John Maguire. The full back line is Michael Maguire, Michael Burns and Dennis Cleary. The half-back line, Michael O'Brien, Niall Cahalan and Patsy Cahalan. Centre field is David O'Regan and Larry Tompkins, who captains today's team. The half-forward line is Jim Nolan, MC O'Mahony and Francie Collins. And the full forward line is Martin O'Mahony, Tim Joe O'Regan and John Cleary. Your referee for this afternoon's game is Mr. Eddie Porter from Brian Dillon's, and he is in the centre of the field, having held the toss, talking to his umpires, and indeed a reporter there as well from a well-known West Cork newspaper. Meantime, referee just checking around to see that everything is in order, as indeed it will be in a moment or two, as the teams gather together for their huddle, which is now, of course, tantamount to the preview of today, of all games nowadays. The crowd sporting their blue and white colours, and the blue and white indeed come, of course, from the men from Castlehaven, but I think you'll probably see a lot of blue because St. Finbarr's also wear the blue with the gold numbers, of course, for them, or the gold trim. St. Finbarr's coming here with an exceptionally proud record, of course, having won the county football title, where St. Finbarr's would see themselves primarily as a hurling side. Last won the football title as recently as 1985. Before that, they won it in 1980 and in 1979. There, of course, is the Sam Maguire Cup, and no, don't get the impression that that's been given to the winner of today's game. It is not indeed, but it is here to prove, of course, that Cork are indeed All-Ireland champions, so the one who will win today's game will, of course, become the champions of the champion county, and indeed that is something that I think both teams here would dearly love to have. Castlehaven, last-minute preparations. Castlehaven, meantime, lining up behind the band, as already St. Finbarr's have lined up behind the Barrack Street brass band, or the Barraca as they're known here in Cork, to lead off the parade on this, the county final day, and this is certainly Cork's Little All-Ireland this particular year. Castlehaven, of course, have been embroiled once before with St. Finbarr's, because indeed in 1976, when Castlehaven actually won the county junior final, they played a quarter-final game here at Park O'Keefe on that particular year, when Park O'Keefe was quite new at that stage, and of course the senior game involved St. Finbarr's beating St. Michael's. The very following year, St. Finbarr's won the intermediate county final, and they beat St. Finbarr's in the final. And the last time that these two teams have actually come together in a final was indeed in the year of 1979, and that's one that maybe the men from the West will not want to recall, because on that particular day they lost 3 goals and 14 points to 2 goals and 7, and St. Finbarr's were the county champions on that particular year. MC O'Mahony just going out of shot, as we're John Cleary there in your shot, bringing up the rear for the Castlehaven men. Bringing up the rear for St. Finbarr's over there is Michael Barry. In front of him is John Allen. John Griffin there also. And as you can see, the ground conditions surprisingly good when you consider the amount of rain that has fallen on this pitch this morning. Quite a good-sized crowd, as I've said earlier on. The estimates that have been given from downstairs were 11,000 people here, packed in there in the covered stand, of course, to get some protection from the elements today, but quite a decent-sized crowd on the uncovered stand as well across the way over there. Those hardy souls who, well, maybe weather doesn't mean anything to them at all. I think that most of that support over there comes from, indeed, the West Cork area as well, because they come here today in high expectation that they indeed can be the ones to the Barrack Street band makes its way across in front of us down in here. I think this perhaps is the most anxious time for players. These last few moments of butterflies and waiting. The Barrack Street band leader wants to line his men up. And the band leader getting his troops ready, and the roll of the drum for our Ron Navian. As the roar of the crowd, and as you've seen there, of course, the tricolour fluttering indeed quite well in the breeze that rose, as I've said already, from left to right. The referee in the centre waiting for the Barrack Street band to make their way off the field, and indeed referee Eddie Porter wastes no time and throws in the ball, and the game is on. First to break away is Larry Tompkins, gets the boot along the ground for Castlehaven, but gone back there to cover is Con O'Mahony. Con, of course, who came on the St. Finbarr's team as a late replacement for Seamus O'Leary, who was a flu victim. Meantime, back in the centre of the field, this is David O'Regan. And passing the ball to Dennis Cleary, giving it up this near side, Patsy Cahalan. Ball going loose, going back there to try and cut it off is Noel Leonard. Noel, of course, maybe better known to Limerick people, having played, still a member of the Limerick hurling team, indeed playing hurling as well for Limerick. That's John Griffin playing a roving role. High ball. Down in the centre, Niall Cahalan, of course, coming forward. Niall beaten this particular time by John Allen, and John Allen has the opening score of the game by kicking the ball over the bar. And I noticed that there are indeed a couple of positional switches on the Castle. Well, there's one very obvious positional switch, and that was that, according to the programme, Mick Burns was selected at full back and Niall Cahalan at centre back, but indeed they have lined out as they are more normally selected, and that of course has Cahalan at full back and Mick Burns at centre back. Meantime, John Kearns, the St. Finbarr's goalkeeper, I beg your pardon, John Maguire, the Castlehaven goalkeeper, placing the ball on the 20-metre line. Will Lowish kick up along that far side, goes to Michael O'Brien, getting the ball forward where it comes to Noah Leonard once again. Leonard is being surrounded over there by two Castlehaven players, but fouls, says referee Porter, and that's a free to St. Finbarr's just inside their own 65-metre line, far side of the field. And McCary, the one with the kicking duties. High ball down into the centre. Dave Barry, star forward, of course, for St. Finbarr's, indeed one that perhaps most is expected from today, but Davis foul as he tries to make his way through, and he will take the resultant free himself. About 35 or just outside 35 metres from the Castlehaven goal, and remember the wind behind him, so this will be one where he will be hoping to increase the St. Finbarr's lead. Kick in towards the goal, but across the face of the goal and out to the right and wide. John Maguire, of course, brother to Michael Maguire. Michael, of course, is the sub-Cork goalkeeper. John Maguire. You really can see how the breeze stops that ball up there. Reacher is in the centre of the field. Christy Ryan is the one who gets it. He gives it to Dave Barry, and Dave's shot in towards the full forward position. John Allen trying to get it there for St. Finbarr's. He is held, but he kicks the ball, and the referee, having allowed the advantage, will indeed allow the ball to be a wide ball, so still no improvement on the score, with St. Finbarr's turning on the early pressure. John Maguire. John Maguire. Out this near side of the field, up there, Reachford coming away with the ball there is Patrick Cahalan. Comes toe to hand and then passes into the centre, coming racing out there is Tim Joe O'Regan, using the ball across there for Clancy Collins, who in turn gives it to Larry Tompkins. Tompkins making his way through, goes toe to hand, still going, he's being chased and harried, and he turns and shoots, and over the bar. And I think the crowd reaction will tell you what they think of that here in the park themselves. Castlehaven 1 point, St. Finbarr's 1 point. 5 minutes gone in the first half. And this time it is indeed John Kearns, the senior Cork goalkeeper, placing the ball on the 20-metre line. And calling those players in a little nearer to him, saying, I don't want to be kicking it away out there for no reason. Kicks the ball nicely down this near side of the field. Racing out there for this Michael Slocum. Slocum, of course, another member of the Cork senior football team this year. Diagonally across the field. Over there, the hands reaching for it everywhere. This is Kieran McCarthy. McCarthy turns and kicks it in towards the goal. John Allen falls as he tries to get to it. And the referee indicating to the umpire that, yes, indeed, that is a wide ball. And that's indeed what it will be. John Maguire. High ball. Landing in the centre. Larry Thompson going up for it, but Dave Barry getting to it there. Christy Ryan is there also for St. Finbarrs. Eventually it's Barry who puts the ball away along the ground, and this is Con O'Mahony. Con, remember, playing at cornerback, but he's playing the roving role as well in towards the full forward position. The ball going loose. Niall Callahan getting a boot to it out towards the near side. Coming over there for it is Michael Slocum, St. Finbarrs, but he loses control of the ball, and eventually, well, I think the referee decides maybe that he was pushed as he did so, and there's a free to St. Finbarrs on the 13-metre line, very close to the sideline. And I noticed that John Griffin's trying to steal a couple of yards, but the umpire is not letting him away with that. John Griffin's kicking towards the goal, but bit of a tail on it, and it turns out over the end line without anybody at all touching it, and indeed I'm sure the St. Finbarrs attack will not be too happy with that particular effort. John Maguire placing the ball on the edge of that small parallelogram once again, and again as in the semi-finals of 2 weeks ago where the wind played such a major role in it, it would appear that that will be the goal, that most of the goal mode action will be this afternoon. John Maguire's kick out. Reaching for it there is Michael Slocum. Left-footed shot into the centre. Coming across there is Dave Barry. Barry sends the ball to nobody in particular. I think intended pass for John Griffin, but the ball beat him out over the end line and once again wide. Much to the delight of the Castlehaven crowd, because I think the cheers of support comes from the Castlehaven crowd. They're quite happy to see that ball going out over that end line. John Maguire once again. See how that ball stands in the centre, trying to reach for it. There was David O'Regan, but the ball is beaten away from him. Coming up the near side of the field, this is Patrick Cahalan. Nobody in particular getting the ball, trying to... MC O'Mahony was there, but the ball eventually booted away by the St. Finbarrs defence, but booted straight down the field and out over the end line, and once again the fifth line ball, a wide ball, the St. Finbarrs dugout, anxiously wondering if those chances are where they might well lose this game, but still happy that their team dominating the opening exchanges. Once again, John Maguire kicking the ball out. High up there, reach for it, no clean fielding there, but this is Dave Barry. Barry turns and kicks right-footed in towards the full forward, John Allen, along with Niall Callahan, but turning with the ball there is Michael Barry, and his shot is to the left of the upright and wide. Certainly the Bars might well find themselves 5 or 6 points to the advantage at the moment, and I'm sure that's what those people in there are saying as well. How could they miss so much? John Maguire kicks the ball straight out into the middle of the field again. You wonder if that is the best tactic that they could be doing at the moment. Once again, it's the St. Finbarrs man. This is the captain, Tony Leahy. Ball going forward, but not much coming from the St. Finbarrs attack in there. Clearing the ball out for Castlehaven is Dennis Cleary out to the far side. Up they reach for it over there, and the ball eventually breaks off one of the St. Finbarrs players out over the line, far side of the field, line ball to Castlehaven. Sideline, up along that far side, very close to the line, and once again the St. Finbarrs man got the hand to it, even though it appeared that it was the Castlehaven man who fielded it best, but the St. Finbarrs player got a hand to it and knocked it out over the line. For once again it is a line ball to Castlehaven, this time Larry Tompkins the taker. Tompkins, of course, so important to this Castlehaven team, and this time it's off of the Castlehaven Jim Nolan who got the hand to it this particular time, and this time it is a line ball to St. Finbarrs on the far side of the field, and Christy Ryan will be the one to take the line ball for them. Down to Dave Barry. Barry advancing forward, hopping the ball, and then hand passing into the centre to Christy Ryan again. Ryan turns and kicks the ball high and to the left of the uprights and wide. The score remains, after 11 minutes of play, 1 point each. That's Christy Ryan trying to encourage his players to tidy up on the marksmanship. And let's stay with it, lads. This is John Maguire. Out into the centre again. Larry Tompkins is getting to the ball there first, and passing it out on the far side. Over there with it is Michael O'Brien. O'Brien gives it forward where it comes to Jim Nolan. Nolan quickly into the centre. Racing out there to try and cut the ball off. The ball comes breaking across this side. Michael Slocum, but he's surrounded by two Castlehaven players. One of those is John Cleary, and he gets the ball into his hand. Then passes the ball forward to Francie Collins. Collins is brought down, and indeed a little bit of unsightly behaviour or unseemly behaviour. Certainly no love lost between these two particular teams at this stage. But I think the referee, Eddie Porter, is going to have a little word with a player from each side, and sending the others away that he doesn't want them. John Cleary there, and alongside him is Michael Slocum. But I don't think he's actually booked them, but he's saying, listen lads, you don't really need to do that, to be truthful. And now, of course, for a little bit of retaliation, he throws the ball up between the two of them. Up they go for it, reaching there for this MC O'Mahony. Eventually it's St. Finbarr's player who got possession, or was indeed pushed as he was going to get possession, and that, of course, is a free to St. Finbarr's, quickly taken by Gene Desmond. Short one, far side of the field over there. That was John Cremon getting the ball away down near side. Larry Tompkins. Larry is fouled by Tony Leahy. Captain versus captain, so to speak. Larry sending away his players. This one he wants to kick it a bit long. Walking back. Sends the ball in towards the goal. Oh, Gene Desmond coming out there for it, fielding it well, but he was charged down by MC O'Mahony, says the referee Eddie Porter, and that's a free to St. Finbarr's, about 30 metres from their own goal and slightly to the left as we look at it. Gene Desmond once again kicking the ball down the centre. Larry Tompkins knocking the ball down where it comes to David O'Regan. This is Francie Collins. Collins out to the far side of the field, racing over there for Martin O'Mahony. O'Mahony, of course, who scored that all-important goal in the semi-final against Duhallow. Castlehaven previously, of course, having accounted for Carbery and St. Nicholas's on the way to this final. Far side of the field over there, it's Con O'Mahony sending the ball down into the centre where Dave Barry sends it Christy Ryan sends it further, but the ball goes, well, it hits the corner flag on the far side of the field, and that, of course, is a wide ball. Members of the VIP section there waiting and anxiously looking for this game to ignite into a keenly fought contest. Not that it's not keenly fought at the moment, but I think that what it really needs, of course, maybe to set the thing alight, is a goal. Remember, just 1 point each, and we're playing coming up to 14 minutes in the first half. Kick out up along the far side of the field. Ball goes off the Castlehaven's player over there was Michael O'Brien, and out over the line ball to St. Finbarr's. Castlehaven there must be quite happy, of course, with the opening moiety. Remember, they're playing against a stiff breeze, and having held the bars for the first quarter, they'll be wondering indeed, can they continue to do so. Christy Ryan's line ball in towards the square, landing in there. Man who puts up his hand for this, Tony Leahy, and he turns and kicks the ball. This time, even though I certainly thought it was a point, but this time the ball goes to the right of the uprights, and the umpire signals that it's wide. So remains 1 point each. John Maguire in no particular hurry, of course, once again. And who indeed is to blame? Quite a decent-sized crowd in that terrace behind that goal there. Maguire's kick out into the centre once again. This is Dave Barry for St. Finbarr's. Sending the ball down in here to the corner. John Griffin. But Griffin is, I beg your pardon, that was Michael Barry, and as he tried to make his way, he was pulled to the ground. And that's a free to St. Finbarr's, just inside 40 metres from the Castlehaven goal. And Dave Barry, the one with the kicking duties. Remember the wind at his back. The Castlehaven defence anxiously. Niall Callahan shepherding it. Ball goes out to the left-hand side and up through a forest of hands. The ball goes out over the end line and once again wide, much to the delight of the Castlehaven support here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. John Maguire. Certainly the busiest man in the park thus far today. Kick out up along that far side of the field, reaching over there for Michael O'Brien of Castlehaven, trying to get the ball forward. Eventually it was Larry Tompkins, but ball breaking forward on the far side, and here comes Castlehaven. Larry Tompkins, and passing the ball forward. John Cleary. Cleary right-footed shot in towards the goal. MC O'Mahony with a great opportunity in front. He is being challenged back there by Noel Leonard. Eventually brought to the ground, and the ball comes back to Francie Collins, and Collins turns and shoots the ball over the bar to once again, I beg your pardon, I was going to say once again level the score, but of course it's not. It's putting Castlehaven into the lead for the first time in the game, playing 16.5 minutes in the first half, and really this is maybe much cause for concern for St. Finbarrs, because having done the early pressing, they really have not put it up on the scoreboard. John Kearns with the task of setting the game moving again. Up they reach for it. Ball goes loose in the middle of the field. The man who tried to get it away there was Michael Slocum, but he was pushed, says the referee Eddie Porter. And that's a free to St. Finbarrs. Quickly taken by Slocum to Christy Ryan. Ryan's high kick in towards the goal. Reaching for it there is John Allen, but Niall Callahan getting the ball away from him, where the ball breaks out to Michael O'Brien of Castlehaven, and passing the ball back to Niall Callahan, who does a little toe to hand and then hand passes forward. Intended pass for David O'Regan goes astray, but eventually breaks out for Patsy Callahan. Over on the far side of the field, the man with the ball in his hand at the moment is John Griffin. Hand passing it shortish in towards Kieran McCarthy. McCarthy back to Griffin once again. Left-footed shot in towards the full forward position, but back there playing defender is Larry Tompkins for Castlehaven, and he hand passes the ball to Niall Callahan, who sends a mighty kick up into the centre of the field. Martin O'Mahony, I beg your pardon. Oh, delightful pass into the centre. MC O'Mahony. O'Mahony, who was brought into today's team for the county final, not having played in the semi-final team, his intended pass to the forward, the Castlehaven dugout, rising to that there for the moment, but meantime back with the referee in the centre of the field. I see that one of the Castlehaven players is down injured.
2-4, Tipperary 8 points.
Away down to our right as we look at it, there's Michael Burns of Castlehaven appeared to have gotten a knock, and the referee Eric Porter has gone over there to see what has happened. Well, I'm just wondering, no, it's not. Indeed, it's Dennis Cleary, I think, was the one who received the knock. I saw Michael Burns drinking out of the bottle in the crowd, and I thought he was the one who had actually received was receiving the attention, but no, it's not. I beg your pardon, I've identified the wrong man again. It is, of course, David O'Regan. O'Regan just back, of course, here today after a period of suspension. There, of course, are the St. Finbarrs people. Seamus Looney near side. Very anxiously wondering what they might do to improve their position at this stage. Meantime, back with the play, Larry Tompkins getting ready for a free kick. He's about 40 metres from the St. Finbarrs goal. Remember, the breeze is into his face, but he's taking plenty of effort with this one. A high ball, and indeed he gets it right, because he has sent the ball over the bar to increase further the Castlehaven lead. They now lead 3 points to St. Finbarrs. Solid 3 points. 20 minutes gone in the first half. Remember, St. Finbarrs playing with a strong breeze in the first half, and the St. Finbarrs supporters in there will be wondering indeed, have they let it go away from them. John Kearns kicks the ball right-footed out to that far side of the field, but before anybody else there is Larry Tompkins. He's been chased and harried by Dave Barry. Remember these two teammates, of course, for Cork. MC O'Mahony for Castlehaven. MC turns and shoots right-footed over the bar. Certainly it would appear that the men from Castlehaven are on their way, because they now lead St. Finbarrs by 4 points to 1, and you can see, of course, the Haven are Magic sends the flag, and indeed, that's how they feel about them right at this point. John Kearns once again. Kicks the ball out, far side of the field. Larry Tompkins getting a boot to it. Ball going loose in the centre, that's Eric Barrett. But once again, here come Castlehaven. John Kearns moving smartly to cut off the danger, and then hand passing it out to Con O'Mahony, and O'Mahony down along the far side of the field, getting the ball away, down as far as Tony Leahy. Leahy being pushed, says the referee, and that's a free to St. Finbarrs, taken by Tony Leahy. St. Finbarrs anxious to get on with it, because certainly they know it's too quickly perhaps, because the ball goes off his foot out over the line, far side of the field, much to the displeasure of those people there, I'm sure. Line ball. Michael O'Brien's kick along that far side of the field, very close to the sideline once again. Referee says that there was a bit of pushing on one of the St. Finbarrs players there. And they indeed have a free, far side of the field, and Christy Ryan, the one to take it. I beg your pardon, that was not, of course, that was Con O'Mahony to Christy Ryan. Ryan's kick high, down towards John Allen. Allen beaten by Cahalan, again, ball knocked away from him. Larry Tompkins, who is playing absolutely everywhere. Just a moment ago, he was up. This is Mick Burns, back to Tompkins again. And Tompkins is brought down as he was racing his way through. Dennis Cleary. Magnificent kick into the breeze, but I must point out that this breeze, well, I was just checking the flag because I was going to say that it seems to have fallen, but no, indeed it's not. Meantime, the far side of the field, Con O'Mahony boots the ball out over the sideline and up into the crowd over there. The ball is eventually being retrieved. I see the Bishop of Cork, or the Auxiliary Bishop of Cork, sitting there indeed and enjoying this mightily, I'm sure, because that man, of course, has West Cork connections indeed before he came into the city. Meantime, back with the play in the centre of the field. David O'Regan setting up Mick Burns. David O'Regan again. The man moving forward to the ball is Francie Collins. Over there with it now is Tim Joe O'Regan. Tim Joe trying to make his way through. Tim Joe, of course, the man who captained Castlehaven when they last played St. Finbarrs in the county final. That, of course, was 10 years ago, just about now. One of the few connections with that, of course, also on that team that day was a very youthful John Cleary. But meantime, back with the play, Christy Ryan, or I beg your pardon, Con O'Mahony, with the free for St. Finbarrs. Kicks the ball into the centre of the field. Along here, this near side, this is Tony Leahy, the St. Finbarrs captain. Toe to hand, and then delivers a high kick in towards the goal, towards John Allen. John Allen is brought down, but the referee says play on. Running onto the ball there is Michael Barry. Barry getting the ball up, but the referee had spotted the earlier infringement, and even though I didn't hear his whistle, it would appear that he certainly had blown it, and there is a free to St. Finbarrs, almost dead straight in front of the goal, and about 30 metres or so out, and certainly what should be a scoreable opportunity for them, and the one with the shooting responsibility this time is John Griffin. Griffin's left-footed kick is high and over the bar to narrow that gap. 25 minutes on my stopwatch gone in this game. Castlehaven lead on a scoreline of 4 points to St. Finbarrs 2. Quite an entertaining first half, maybe lacking that sparkle of a goal, or even indeed the chance of one thereof. Once again, the St. Finbarrs bench, or the St. Finbarrs mentors there, anxiously looking around. John Maguire's kick out, far side of the field. Larry Tompkins, but failing to hold it, the ball goes loose. Over there is Con O'Mahony. O'Mahony is foul in possession, says referee Eric Porter. And There's a little argy-bargy going on there. Sometimes tempers becoming a slight bit frayed, but really these two teams managing quite well, I suppose I should say, in the conditions that are here this afternoon. Three quickly taken, but going highest of all there is Michael O'Brien for Castlehaven. He gets the ball up along that far side of the field where Dave Barry turns and kicks his shot in towards the full forward position once again, and they're waiting for Tony Leahy, but Leahy is brought to the ground, says the referee Eric Porter, and that would be a free for St. Finbarrs, dead straight in front of the goal, 25 metres from the Castlehaven goal, and the man with the kicking responsibility is once again John Griffin. Lowish one, but it sails over the bar to narrow that gap further, as we have now a situation where Castlehaven lead by 4 points to St. Finbarrs 3. Anxious lady there. I wonder who she supports. John Maguire. Dave Barry going up for the ball, but the man with the ball at the moment is Tony Leahy, getting the ball in towards the full forward time. This time John Allen has indeed gotten away from Niall Callahan. Dave Barry's shot in towards the goal, but coming out this near side of the field is Michael Maguire, but his intended hand pass to Francie Collins goes out over the sideline near side of the field, and a line ball to St. Finbarrs, which will be taken by Michael Slocum. Into the centre, Eric Barrett back to Slocum. Michael Slocum turns and kicks the ball high across in front of the Castlehaven goal. John Allen trying to make his way to it, but held off there by Niall Callahan, and the ball eventually goes out over. Meantime, John Maguire with the kick out. I see there's a switch on the St. Finbarrs team, with Christy Ryan now gone to the centre forward position, and Noah Leonard now operating in the middle of the field. This is Eric Barrett coming into the game more and more all the time, but his intended kick going no place in particular. John Maguire coming across, getting it up along this near side of the field. David O'Regan first timing the ball away on the ground, as once again this Christy Ryan getting the better of that particular tussle, sending the ball down. The man with the ball in his hand is Michael Slocum for St. Finbarrs, certainly having moved forward. Now with the ball is Kieran McCarthy. He's been chased and harried back there by Michael O'Brien, but the referee says that legally so, and that's a free to St. Finbarrs from the 20-metre line, or about 10 metres in from the, well, it was about 10 metres in, it's about 12 metres in at this particular point, and John Griffin the one to take the free. Griffin, left-footed kicker, in towards the goal, held in there, but the ball goes over the bar to level up the scores, and St. Finbarrs gradually coming back into this game. They seem to be in serious trouble, having surrendered the early advantage without really putting it on the scoreboard, and Castlehaven coming into the game. Crowd again watching as John Maguire places the ball on the 20-metre line. Ball landing in the centre of the field. Noah Leonard all alone and getting it there to Dave Barry. Barry crossfield, delightful passing really to Mick Slocum. Slocum trying to go around Fancy Collins, succeeds in doing so, but then Fancy Collins pulls his jersey, and a chance perhaps for St. Finbarrs to once again retake the lead. There's Michael Slocum just outside the 45-metre line. Slocum walking up, kicking the ball right-footed high and over the bar to put St. Finbarrs back in front. As on my stopwatch, 1 minute left in this first half, as the referee writes the score, and John Maguire in no particular hurry as he changes the balls and comes forward on the 20-metre line to once again kick the ball out. John Maguire kicks the ball out. Larry Tompkins fending off the challenge and trying to make room. Then eventually a hand passes it forward to John Cleary, but that pass is cut out back there, and this is Noah Leonard. And Noah Leonard throws a punch. Well, having been punched by maybe Larry Tompkins in the first instance, then losing his temper and throws a punch back, and the referee is going to have a word with Larry Tompkins when lying on the ground at the moment, but I don't think he's too seriously injured, and when the referee will get him back up, Larry, well, maybe I'm wrong, maybe he is seriously injured, because they're certainly making the most of it at this point. Standing there also is Francie Collins, and beside him MC O'Mahony drinking from the magic bottle. David O'Regan, Tim Joe O'Regan, hands on hips. Referee waiting. John Cleary is there also. And the referee is going to write the name of Noah Leonard into his particular notebook. I think he'll probably also do the same as Larry Tompkins once he gets him in a situation where he can talk to him. Noah Leonard explaining to the referee that it was, well, it wasn't intentional. And now Larry Tompkins being called in. And I don't know if he has actually written. Both players shake hands again, and the referee is giving them a little lecture and saying, well, lads, look, we won't have any more of that. Meantime, he's going to throw the ball in between the two players, which he does. The man who wins the ball is Tim Joe O'Regan for Castlehaven. And he delivers a right-footed kick into the centre, coming out there for this Christy Ryan, but the ball goes loose. Nobody in particular. The ref, oh dear. The referee, I think, was about to blow the half-time whistle, but once again the temper seemed to have flared at just the wrong moment, and oh dear, a loose kick being thrown on one player. And oh, I see down here underneath us, if we can get a wide-angle shot of that, there's another melee breaking out at the same time. And really, this is such a pity, because it really hasn't been this kind of game at all. I've seen Ned Cleary out there on the pitch telling the players that it is half-time, and look, for goodness sake, let's go into the dressing room, because this is a county final. We have a match here to win. A couple of Harvey Smith signs being made at one side to the other there as well. And well, I think perhaps this is the moment when some of the players, I see Larry Tompkins, and indeed there is a bit of venom going between both sides there still. One of those incidents that you sometimes read in the paper, that sometimes trouble might have been come have the crowd on the far side there under the umbrellas as the mist, drizzly mist comes down, and the crowd waiting patiently, those brave souls, as the substitutes come out for their moment of glory to have a kick round on the spot at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. But I know that in particular, of course, in the tunnel there, temper's really very hot. Well, it would appear that it wasn't for any particular reason indeed. There's Dennis Conroy. I wonder if he's telling them to sort of, let's go in and organise them. People, I see the Bishop of Cork in the background there as well, Sean Crowley from Bandon. And there, of course, is the Sam Maguire Cup. The crowd putting away the umbrellas on the far side over there again.
We wish to thank the people who have attended the county final over the years for their support for handball, together with the clubs in the county and our county board.
The half-time conversation here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, I think, will probably centre around, well, indeed, have the men from St. Finbarr's done enough with this particular advantage that they've had in the first half? The breeze still blowing quite strongly down into that Blackrock end, but St. Finbarr's, of course, lead on the scoreline of 5 points to Castlehaven's 4 points, as the Barrack Street Brass Band strike up for the half-time entertainment here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Thankfully, the rain that's been falling so heavily all morning still standing to hoping to stay off, and hopefully it will continue to do so. And I understand that Paddy Palmer is talking to somebody down there by the tunnel area.
Well, I suppose it didn't, not really, because I mean, when you're playing with a strong wind there, I suppose we should have taken more advantage of the strong wind, but that's the way it goes. I mean, it's a game of 60 minutes and there's another half to come yet. We're a point ahead and we'll just have to capitalise on that now in the second half.
Dan, Joe, to you, how did you see this? Were you pleased with the
I was very pleased for at least 25 minutes, because Castlehaven had built up a lead. Like against all expectations. The Bears came back there at us all right in the last 2 minutes, scored 4 points, I think, in 5 minutes. They did have a good few wides throughout the game, throughout the first half, Bears had. So Castlehaven have every reason to be happy enough.
Are you talking about any section of the pitch for the second half?
Not really. I think the changes we made during the first half are strong enough. I mean, Noel Leonard coming in out of the middle of the field and things. I think we should be okay again for the second half. Obviously, it's going to be a different ball game. It's going to be very hard. But we're willing to go out there. We're going to die on the ball out there in the second half.
Andrew, how do you see the second half going? Is there any way that any particular part of the field that you play will have to improve?
I'd hope that the forwards are supplied with the type of ball that suits them. If we get the ball in low to our corner forwards in particular, if we can succeed in doing that, I think they should be able to notch a few scores.
How do you see the weather affecting the game, Ricky?
It seems to making the ball obviously travel very fast. If you don't catch it before it bounces, it skids away from the player. It's obviously making middle of the field very hard to hold the ball as well. But it's not helping play, that's for sure. It's not helping play.
And then to you, the weather conditions?
Ah, yes, there has been a big deterioration the last couple of weeks. I was here now for the Duhala game, and the ground was perfect that day. Like, the ground has shipped an awful lot of water in the meantime, like, but all things considered, it's as good as it could be, like, you know.
One thing, Ricky, that impressed me about Castlehaven was the way they were able to work the ball out of defence, particularly in the first 10 minutes. Were you impressed by that?
That's right. The defence is playing very well. I mean, there's a lot of ball breaking in around the square there with John Allen breaking ball, and Castlehaven, I must admit, are clearing it, and we're just missing the odd score that we get a chance, then we put it away.
How do you see the wind out there, then, Joe? It seemed to be favouring Castlehaven, but favouring the Bears in the first half, but I wonder, the Bears, they missed a few scores that looked like scoreable. Do you think there's advantageous as it sounds?
Well, the high wind results in a bit too much carrying the ball. The ball is going a bit too far. I saw Dave Barry sending a few perfect balls in there, but they carried over the line, you know. The strong wind is carrying the ball wide at the end, you know. It's a kind of a double-edged advantage, like, you know.
Ricky, do you think that the Bears will change their game and play a short passing game now that they seem to be playing against the wind?
I don't think so, really. I don't think so. We'll play obviously out of defence. We'll try and probably play the ball out of defence, but generally speaking, we'll stick to our own game. Once it gets to the middle of the field, we'll try and get it into their half as fast as we can. That's what it's all about. Don't be able to score if it's in there.
Yes, now, gentlemen, a prediction, then, Joe, at this stage.
Well, I don't ever believe in making rash forecasts, but I'll be very happy if Castlehaven are a point in front of the finish.
Ricky,
I'll settle for the minimum.
I'm in the same boat. I hope we're a point ahead at the end of the game. I said before the match that a point or two is going to separate these teams at the end of the day, and I think that's the way it's going to be at the end of the day.
Gentlemen, once again, thank you both for your time and the best of the board.
Thank you, Paddy. Thank you.
Latest score from Hollis, Park 3-4, Tipperary 9-5. Park 3-4.
Well, there you see where some of the sliding and slipping that the ground here in Park O'Keefe, or some of the hammering that perhaps it's taking today. But I must say that certainly I expected it to be much, much worse with the rain that fell in the county this morning. But it's really standing up quite well for it this late in the year. A year, of course, that here has been absolutely perfect for GAA games because we've had such a long, dry spell of weather. One has become unused to playing in the rain, as it were. When you compare this to last year, where it rained all summer, well, then you see what I mean. And really, Park O'Keefe standing quite well to the conditions today and not having the effect on the game that one might indeed have expected to be so. St. Finbarrs, of course, who came here today, having beaten the county champions of the last 2 years, they are, of course, Nemo Rangers. And 2 weeks ago, when Castlehaven were playing on here, it was expected that the county final would not be played today because that particular day St. Finbarrs and Nemo Rangers drew. But last Saturday they had a replay, and on that particular day St. Finbarrs came out on a 1-point advantage, 2-7 to 2-8, and that is why they are playing, well, 8 days later, the county final. And the county final here, of course, the one that such a huge crowd has come to watch despite the elements, and certainly that must have had some effect on the crowd coming today. The Castlehaven bench applaud the Barrack Street Pipe Band as they make their way off the field. here indeed do come St. Finbarr's back for the start of the second half. And this time a rather subdued look on their faces, and well, while they ran out onto the field on the first occasion, I wonder have they got heavy hearts and wondering, well, quite a high mountain indeed for them to climb. But certainly, of course, they have the experience, because in their ranks they have 3 of the successful Cork team. And chief among those, of course, was Dave Barry, who played a marvellous game for Cork this year. John Cairns, of course, the ever-reliable goalkeeper, and of course Michael Slocum, who plays wing-back for the Bars, of course, was also the wing-back on the senior Cork team. And here come Castlehaven. I think maybe if you look to a sign, there's a slight lightness in their step, because they feel that maybe they have the first half of this job well done. Just looking around to see if there are any personnel changes or indeed positional changes. There's Larry Tompkins, of course, whom I think everybody in the county will agree with you has had perhaps the most amazing effect on Cork football since he joined 3.5 years ago now in the first instance. There's Michael Slocum running across your picture to take up his place.
Score now from Thomas. Cork 4-5, Tipperary 9-5.
Meantime, the referee on the far side of the field telling the players to push back, and he checks his watch and blows the whistle, and the second half is on. And first to break away this time are St. Finbarr, sending the ball forward is Joe Leonard, but Niall Cahalan. Niall, of course, with that heavily bandaged left knee, he was fouled as he came through, but Niall's story certainly a rags to riches of this particular year, because he was the one who didn't get to play for Cork, or indeed, well, he played for Castlehaven in the drawn match against Duhallow, where he showed the Cork senior football selectors and indeed the county at large that he was indeed fit and able and ready to take his place in Cork, and of course he was magnificent on the day. This is Dennis Cleary. Kick across to this far side, this near side of the field, but getting the better of the ball there and playing soccer with it was Con O'Mahony, sending it out to this near side, very close to the sideline, Michael Barry, but eventually the ball breaks out over the line, and the line ball to St. Finbarr's.
The latest from Thurles, Cork 5-5.
Dave Barry. Walking back in under the stand. Kicks the ball right-footed across in front of the goal. Up they go for John Allen, trying to bring it down, but the ball goes loose from him. To nobody in particular. Nipping across there for this Tony Leahy. Hand passes the ball back to Dave Barry. Barry sends the ball forward, but cut out back over there by Dennis Cleary. Gets a 1-2, and this is coming away with the ball, Michael Maguire. His shot is blocked. The man with the ball in his hand is Tony Leahy of St. Finbarr's. He's trying to get some room. That's a very greasy ball, remember. Surrounded by 3 or 4 Castlehaven players, but the referee says that he overcarried the ball or overplayed the ball, and that will be a free to Castlehaven, about 30 metres from their own goal, and one that they will have indeed find great relief in. Niall Cahalan, the one to take the free. The Castlehaven bench, perhaps their spirits rising at this point in time, but remember they trail St. Finbarr's by that 1 point, because St. Finbarr's lead 5 points to 4. This is Larry Tompkins, but he was held as he tried to make his way through by Noah Leonard, and this is a free to Castlehaven in the centre of the field, and Larry Tompkins will take the free himself. Short kick forward to John Cleary, but this time it's Francie Collins. Collins being chased and harried by Michael Slocum. Hand passes the ball back into MC O'Mahony, and he turns and kicks the ball over the bar to level up the scoring. I beg your pardon, the player who scored the point in actual fact was Michael O'Brien. 2 minutes of play in the second half, and once again the scores are level, 5 points for each team, as the St. Finbarr's goalkeeper John Cairns places the ball on the 20-metre line and kicks out into this strong breeze. Places the ball far side over towards Michael Slocum. He rounds the tackle and eventually gets the ball in his hand and then kicks it forward. Tony Leahy reaching out for it there, but the man coming across. So lovely interchange there with the St. Finbarr's attack. Racing onto the ball there is John Allen. Over beside him is Niall Cahalane. Allen has the ball in his hand and trying to get inside Cahalane. Cahalane still with him. Hand passing the ball forward, but the pass eventually goes astray and bringing the Castlehaven defence bring the ball out to clear their lines. This is Con O'Mahony of St. Finbarrs. Alongside him is MC O'Mahony. O'Mahony kicks the ball down, but waiting for it there all alone is Christy Ryan. Ryan now operating at centre back, who kicks the ball out along the far side of the field. Ex-Slocum of St. Finbarrs. I see that Shane Bergen of St. Finbarrs getting ready to come into this game, but meantime with the play very near the line far side of the field, and a little holding. Well, the umpire eventually waves that the ball is in fact wide. I was going to say that Michael Maguire was being held over there as he tried to get to the ball to clear his lines, but the umpire eventually signals that it was a wide. The Bars waiting, considering, well, yes, now there's the magic note, and indeed Shane Bergen is coming into the game because the referee has asked for the play to be stopped, and I'll tell you in a moment who's going off, or as soon as I see who is going off, because as yet nobody starting to make their way off.
Substitution for St. Finbarrs, Shane Bergen,
and Kieran McCarthy is coming off the St. Finbarrs team. Certainly a move by St. Finbarrs to see if they can bolster the attack. Absolutely happy with the defence, one would appear to say. John McGuire's kick of far side over there, that's Michael Slocum. He gets to the ball first and kicks the ball out over the line far side of the field, and that will be a line ball to Castlehaven, which Dennis Cleary has gone across there to retrieve the ball and will take the line kick himself. He throws away the flag. Game still finely balanced, of course, and while there's a tendency maybe to not give St. Finbarrs full credit for the position they're in, certainly by no means out of this game. Larry Tompkins, but as the ball came across the other Castlehaven man, I see it's Martin O'Mahony writhing in agony on the ground. As he came forward, he was brought down, and that will be a free on the 45-metre line when play resumes. Meantime, Martin O'Mahony in some obvious distress there. And there's the Padraig Burke in there to make the magic rub, so to speak, with the magic bottle, and it would appear that Martin O'Mahony is fit to resume, although he would appear to be limping, but I'm sure that will go away with some running. Meantime, back with the play, Larry Tompkins getting ready to take the free. On the 45-metre line, dead straight in front of the goal. Certainly should be within his compass. Yes, indeed it is, because he's hit straight over the bar. 7 minutes gone in the second half, and Castlehaven once again regained the lead. They now lead 6 points to St. Finbarrs 5. John Kearns kicks the ball up along that far side of the field. Noel Leonard, but this time he's beaten by Francie Collins. Sends his side attacking, ball forward towards John Leary, but cut out back over there by Mike McCary. The ball goes off McCary out over the line, far side of the field, line ball to Castlehaven. And as I've said earlier on, that of course will be the attacking goal today. The Liam Hodlett, Pat Lougheed and Donald Murray in a huddle there, trying to devise a plan that will stem this tie that is now Castlehaven. Larry Tompkins on the far side. High kick in towards the... Oh, yes, indeed. Magnificent point. Because that was on the 13-metre line. I know the wind is blowing into that goal, but that was the narrowest of angles, and indeed the Castlehaven bench raised their fists in the customary salute to say, of course, yes, boy, we approve of that. Castlehaven leads 7 points to St. Finbarrs 5, and really the sort of score that would inspire a team. But so far, not the smell of a goal in this match as John Kearns kicks the ball out. landing 45 metres from his own goal. Martin O'Mahony, the man who was injured a moment ago, steadying himself and sends the ball across into the centre. Intended pass for Francie Collins, goes astray, and the man bringing the ball away is Michael Slocum. And pass forward, but breaking up that attack, this is Mick Burns, Francie Collins, Martin O'Mahony. O'Mahony's intended pass goes astray as it hits off one of the St. Finbarr's men. Cleared out there by Tony Leahy. This is Dave Barry. Right-footed kick high to try and set something up, but gone back there to cover is Michael Maguire for Castlehaven. And coming out the near side of the field, but beating the pin to the ball is Michael Burns out over the line. And, well, as you can see, the line, the near side touch line, in really a very bad condition, but thankfully the rest of the field not indeed showing that same sort of cutting. You can actually see it just where the flag is lying on the ground there, and the ground is pretty badly cut up there.
Cork by 5-8 to Tipperary's 11-5.
Noel Leonard, the one to take the line ball. Right-footed kick, cross into the centre. Tony Leahy turns and shoots right-footed once again, and he cuts the arrears somewhat, because that's a magnificent point for St. Finbarr's to narrow that gap to the minimum, because once again Castlehaven lead now by just 1 point, 7 points to St. Finbarr's 6. One of the St. Finbarr's mentors on the field trying to make some switches. We'll tell you about those in a moment. I noticed that coming out into the central position, Dave Barry has gone full forward, John Griffin gone centre forward, I think. Meantime, John Maguire will kick the ball out. I'll tell you about the positional switches in a moment. Up there, each for it. Tony Leahy getting the ball for St. Finbarr's out along that far side. Michael Slocum gone racing out for it. Michael O'Brien was with him. O'Brien gets there first and boots the ball out over the line, far side of the field. Line ball to St. Finbarr's. And as I've said already, certainly this match not over by any stretch of the imagination. Just 1 point between them. I wonder what the odds on a draw would be at this point. However, Michael Slocum. Oh, a lovely piece of fielding in there by Larry Tompkins, bringing his attack out into the centre where the ball comes to MC O'Mahony. O'Mahony's kicked right-footed down along this near side of the field. Ball breaks loose out this near side. There it comes to the hand of Jim Nolan. Nolan forward to John Cleary. Cleary slips on the soft surface here, but eventually gets his kick in, and racing forward for it once again is MC O'Mahony. MC trying to go around Noel Leonard, but he slips and loses control. And the referee, well, the umpire waving that it's wide. I was wondering what the referee was signalling, but yes, indeed, what he is signalling is, of course, that the ball will be, or play will be restarted by a kick out from the edge of that small parallelogram. Christy Ryan in your shot there, alongside him, MC O'Mahony, the man who was trying to build that attack a moment ago. John Kearns kick out. Back where it goes to, left there by John Clemon. But coming across there, near side of the field, was Con O'Mahony, but he was fouled as he tried to get his kick in. And that would be a free to St. Finbarr's, 25 metres from their end line, near side of the field, and Christy Ryan will be the one to take the free. Christy, of course, one of the most experienced players that St. Finbarr's have, going for his 5th county medal today. High kick into the centre. Larry Thompson going higher than anybody else, failing to control the ball then, though. Ball loose on the ground, Tony Leahy, but the man who eventually gets the ball or gets it up is John Griffin for St. Finbarr. Over there on the far side of the field is Shane Bergen. And he was fouled as he tried to make his way through, and that's a free to St. Finbarr's on the 45-metre line, slightly to the right of the goal. As Michael Slocum will be the one to take the kick, having found a little piece of gas in there. The referee gone back in to have a word with some of the attackers and defenders in near the Castlehaven goal, and must be some little off-the-ball incident that I didn't quite spot. Meantime, Michael Slocum's kick high, dangerously in, but a lovely piece of fielding there by Niall Callahan. Bounced the ball out into the centre of the field. Added to there, but the ball comes to Christy Ryan. Right-footed shot up along this near side. Coming across. Therefore, it is John Griffin. He slips as he tries to get control. This is David O'Regan for Castlehaven, but it'll have to come back as David O'Regan throws the ball away, much to the displeasure of the St. Finbarr support here in the McCarthy stand. And that will be a free for St. Finbarrs. And once again, Noah Leonard, the one, well, a new free taker, should I say. Noah Leonard, the one to take it. Right-footed kick goes in, and oh dear, harmlessly out over the end line. I don't think that's quite what he intended to do with it. The score remains 7 points for Castlehaven, 6 for St. Finbarrs. And I see that there's a substitute warming up on the Castlehaven bench there, and John Callahan getting ready to come in to the game. And the referee indeed waiting for John Callahan to take his place. And coming off down here underneath it is Jim Nolan. John Callahan to try and set up something for Castlehaven, because certainly in the second half Castlehaven have not been able to put away St. Finbarrs any more than it was the other way around in the first half. Very tightly balanced match. John Maguire into the centre, reaching there for it with Patrick Callahan, but he can't control it. Gone back there is Niall Callahan. Dennis Cleary with the ball. Fouls as the referee in Eddie Porter, and that's a free to Castlehaven. About 40 metres from their own goal, dead straight in front of it, and Niall Callahan will be the one to take it as we come up on halfway in the second half. Callahan. And it kick, oh, magnificent one. Breaking loose down there, coming across over Tim Joe Regan, picking up for Larry Thompson. Larry Thompson shoots and sends the ball over the bar. Much to the approval of those men, let me tell you, as they wave their flags and Castlehaven restore their 2-point lead. Because they now lead 8 points to St. Finbarrs 6. John Kearns kicking the ball out far side. Michael Slocum trying to get to it, getting the ball up into his hands, setting the dummy and coming inside, and then belts the ball away up along that far side. This is Dave Barry for St. Finbarrs, getting the ball up into his hands at the second time of asking. Right footed out across where the ball goes across over there to Panomani. But he was brought down as he went racing through, and that will be a free to St. Finbarrs as they introduce Tony Power into their game. The number 21 for St. Finbarrs going into hands. Well, alongside him as a mentor, I'm sure there'll be a couple of positional switches or changes, as once again St. Finbarrs have the opportunity to narrow the gap.
Substitution for St. Finbarrs, number 21, Tony Power for John Allen.
Meantime, back with the play, the ball is John Allen making his way off the St. Finbarrs team, since Tony Power came on. But meantime, all that was going on, John Griffin took the resultant free and sent the ball over the bar, because the scoreline now reads St. Finbarrs 7 points, Castlehaven 8 points, just the minimum between these teams again. 16 minutes gone in the second half as John Allen comes back to take his place, and they say, well done, fella, as John Maguire kicks the ball out into the centre. Con O'Mahony getting the ball into his hand and kicking left-footed out towards the line, near side of the field, out over the line. And that will be a line ball to Castlehaven. McBurns coming across to take it. As you can see, once again, that particular patch of ground particularly pretty badly cut up, but I assure you it's just encroaching on the field of play by just about 1 foot. Lowish one down into the centre. Francie Collins turns and kicks right-footed. Oh, a lovely piece of fielding back there by Christy Ryan for St. Finbarrs, and maybe he can inspire his team as he kicks the ball diagonally across the field. And here come the Bars, because racing up with the ball now is Shane Ahern. Or Shane Bergen, I beg your pardon. He's gone 20-30 metres and then turns and kicks a high ball, but it goes off his boot out to the right and hops just inside the end line and then bounces out over it for a wide ball. And certainly, as I've said already, there was maybe a tendency on my part to write off St. Finbarrs in this first half, but not a bit of it. There's a one heck of a game going on here. This game's still finely balanced. Still anybody can be the county football champions of 1989. The crowd there anxiously waiting, looking to see, I see Dennis Conroy, the chairman of the Cork County Board, sitting there in the centre. Meantime, back with the play, St. Finbarrs come raiding once again. Nobody in close enough to John Maguire, and he hand passes the ball across to Niall Callahan. Callahan comes racing forward, 20-25, then kicks the ball left-footed away up the field. But coming across there to cut the ball out for St. Finbarrs is John Clement. But he fouled one of the Castlehaven men in charging with the ball, or maybe, well, I think it wasn't John Clement at all. I think it was an off-the-ball pushing or holding that was done on Larry Tompkins over there. And that's a free to Castlehaven, about 50 metres from the St. Finbarrs goal, but dead straight in front of it, and certainly if anybody can score this one, the man that's taking it, Larry Tompkins, is the one to do it. Larry steadying himself. Ball, shortish one, landing in. The crowd go ooh, but coming out there with the ball for St. Finbarrs is Christy Ryan. And they win a free on their own 20-metre line, quickly taken over there by Gene Desmond. Christy Ryan tried to bring the ball forward. He's brought down just inside his own 45, and that will be once again a free to St. Finbarrs. Christy, of course, an accomplished hurler as well as a footballer. Right-footed kick out to the far side of the field. Racing over there for it is Michael Barry. Barry rides the tackle of Michael Maguire and goes around toe to hand. He's gone 20-25 metres, lays the ball out to that far side. Oh, a delightful pass into Shane Bergen. Bergen turns and kicks low, right-footed in towards the goal. Michael Maguire fumbles the ball on the ground a little bit, but then eventually gets it out this near side of the field, where it comes to John Callahan. Callahan rides the tackle, but he was fouled. McBurns quickly taking the free, and that's not the place where the foul occurred, and you'll have to take it from the right place. Niall Callahan. Callahan thinking about taking the quick short one, but then electing not to do so. Left-footed kick up into the centre, knocked down by Larry Tompkins, only as far as Eric Barrett for St. Finbarrs though, and he gives the ball across on the far side of the field. We're racing over there for this Michael Barry. Barry gets the ball up into his hand, trying to go around Michael Maguire, then sends a foot pass into the centre. Dave Barry, but gone back over there to cover is Dennis Cleary for Castlehaven, and he belts the ball up into the centre. This is Michael Slocum for St. Finbarrs, really playing an attacking forward role, and as Noah Leonard tried to make his way through, he was impeded, says the referee Eric Porter, and that's a free to St. Finbarrs, about 40 metres from the Castlehaven goal, and maybe an opportunity for St. Finbarrs to level up the scores. Anxious faces there, wondering, will this game be won by one or the other side today, or will we have to come back another day and do it all again? Michael Slocum steadying himself, kicks right-footed, high, but to the left of the to the right of the upright and wide. As the score remains, 8 points for Castlehaven, 7 points for St. Finbarrs. 23 minutes gone in this second half, according to my stopwatch, and certainly game keenly balanced, but as I must say once again, the most notable factor of the game is that not once in the whole game has there been a goal scoring opportunity by either side. Meantime, in the centre of the field, a bit of holding on the Castlehaven centre forward, MC O'Mahony, and there's a free to Castlehaven from just inside their own 65-metre line, quickly taken by Niall Callahan, where the ball's to Larry Tompkins, and he belts the ball forward. Just asking myself, what is Niall Callahan doing in centre field for Castlehaven, but maybe it's just that he's come out of his position. Meantime, back in here underneath us John Cremin is fouled on his own 45-metre line, and Christy Ryan meantime, John Cremin receiving a little attention. The referee happy that he's okay to continue. As Christy Ryan will take the free. He belts the ball right-footed up along this near side of the field, trying to reach up a hand there to John Callahan, but he eventually gets it the second time of asking, and hand passes into the centre where it comes to MC O'Mahony. Back to John Callahan again, and he kicks right-footed across the field. Oh, delightful catch over there by Dennis Cleary, and his hand passes forward, and here comes Castlehaven attacking. This is his brother John Cleary. He's gone around one tackle and then the other, and he's getting into a scoring position, and he pops the ball to the right of the upright and wide, and once again that incident, or that little nastiness, breaks out, and a few punches being thrown, and indeed a kick for good measure just as well. And I can't for the life of me understand really what that is all about, because it isn't that kind of game at all. I know that the referee is writing the name of Christy Ryan into his notebook at the moment. Gene Desmond standing alongside, and he has actually sent Christy Ryan off the field. Well, I must admit that Christy Ryan is being sent off. I must admit that I didn't quite see it, because I was watching the flight of the ball as John Cleary, seemingly without any reason at all, must have been attacked by Christy Ryan. But however, the referee has taken very stern action indeed, and maybe, well, I suppose he might have told them this at half-time because of the unsightly scenes that we witnessed just before the break. And now St. Finbarr's reduced to 14 men. And I estimate just about 5 minutes left in the game, as John Kearns, remember, Castlehaven leading by the narrowest of margins at 1 point, as the St. Finbarr's goalkeeper John Kearns kicks the ball out near side of the field, very close to the sideline, and out over the sideline without anybody at all touching it. Line ball to Castlehaven. Coming across there, I see the St. Finbarr's dugout rather agitated at this stage. Try and make some changes to shore up the vacancy left by Christy Ryan. Meantime, Larry Tompkins will be the one to take the line ball, which he does, shortish one, to Fancy Collins. Gets the return from Collins, and then kicks the ball right-footed in towards the goal. Held back in there by Gene Desmond for St. Finbarr's, and he gives the ball forward to Con O'Mahony. O'Mahony in turn gives it to Michael Carey. I beg your pardon, that was John Griffin, and sends the ball forward. Noah Leonard for St. Finbarr's. Up along that far side of the field, racing through with the ball, was Tony Leahy, the captain, but he was fouled, says the referee, and this is Michael Slocum. But the ball was rolling, says the referee. When you took the free, say you'll have to take it again. The Castlehaven dugout must be a slight bit happier than they were earlier on, but they're not out of the woods at all yet. Bit of holding on, surely holding on in there. I would have thought that the referee might have given the free even earlier, because surely Dave Barry was held in the first instance. A bit of holding also on Shane Bergen, or I beg your pardon, on the Castlehaven man. Well, I'm surprised that it's even coming out this particular way, because surely St. Finbarr's deserved the free kick in the first instance. Meantime, Michael Maguire belting the ball down the field. This is David O'Regan. O'Regan turns and shoots right-footed. Held in there by John Kearns in the St. Finbarr's goal, and he clears his lines out the far side of the field where it comes to Mick Carey. And Carey has gone up toe to hand that far side of the field, and then sends the ball forward, but cut out over there by Francie Collins. Collins turns and kicks a right-footed kick forward, where it goes in there to Martin O'Mahony. O'Mahony eventually kicking the ball forward. MC O'Mahony trying to control it. Noah Leonard for St. Finbarr's. He is fouled and then puts the ball down as the referee, but the referee is going to insist that the play goes back to where the foul actually occurred. And Gene Desmond will be the one to take the free. Desmond up to Christy Ryan, and he is held and dragged to the ground by Niall Callahan. And once again the St. Finbarr's temper is a little frayed, because they are being frustrated, one feels, by this holding type game. Standing over the ball there was Dave Barry, and alongside him was Con O'Mahony, but the man kicking the ball at the moment is Tony Leahy, now playing at the central back position for his club. But the ball comes off one of the Castle. Oh dear, and the punch is being thrown quite all over the place at the moment. And one really wonders if this match will be finished at home. John Griffin for St. Finbarrs, left-footed kick. Oh, a lovely piece. Well, I was going to say a lovely piece of fielding there by St. Finbarrs, but eventually the ball beaten away from them out over the line, near side of the field. With Brendan Larkin telling Paddy Palmer how he feels that this should be done. 2 minutes left on my stopwatch. Dave Barry coming across, and you'll recall earlier on, of course, I said, well, what are the chances of a draw? Indeed, what are the chances of a draw? Dave Barry gets the return, and Dave Barry kicks the ball right-footed, high, hits off the upright, comes back into play. Larry Tompkins in there in front of his own goal. And I think, well, the referee has signalled that it is a free out. For a moment he was pointing at the goal, and I was worried that he was going to award a penalty or something, but no, indeed, it is a free out to Castlehaven from the edge of that small parallelogram one, which of course was greeted with delirium here, because Castlehaven hanging on by the narrowest of margins, and certainly a scoring opportunity for St. Finbarrs, maybe even a goal scoring opportunity. Meantime, the kick out comes back into the centre and kicked away down the field by Michael O'Brien for Castlehaven. Gene Desmond under the ball, he's been chased and harried there by David O'Regan for Castlehaven, but the ball is kicked back to the St. Finbarrs goalkeeper like a back pass, soccer style almost. John Clemen in all sorts of difficulty there. This is John Cleary. Cleary turns, shoots, shot blocked down. David O'Regan trying to get his kick in. He sends his shot over the bar. Over the bar. And certainly I see the Castlehaven sideline bench celebrating, throwing their boxes in the air, because they feel that that indeed is victory for them on this occasion. And certainly a sentiment that I think I would have to agree with, because on my stopwatch the time is just about up as John Kern kicks the ball out to John Clemen. Clemen, right-footed kick up the field. We're reaching up for it there with Tony Power. The referee calls for the ball. The game is over. Castlehaven are the county champions of 1989. Scenes of joy, unprecedented I would say here in Cork, as groups of blue tracksuit players congratulate the men who played in the field. Absolutely unbounded joy. I see Pat Hegarty down there in the middle of all of them. Certainly nobody has wished for Castlehaven to win this more than he at this particular moment, as they congratulate each other. Dennis Cleary, and along with him there is John Maguire, and joy written on their faces. Unbelievable scenes of joy. 10 years ago, of course, Castlehaven became a senior football team. That year they had to taste the cup of defeat, and ever since then, while having promised much, never got to even the county final. But today they sit atop the top county in Ireland, because today Castlehaven are the football champions of Cork, and this year, of course, Cork are All-Ireland champions. And this is what they have talked about in Castlehaven for 10 years. I think John Cleary being congratulated and positively hugged in the middle of that group. There also is Mick Burns, a couple of the St. Finbarrs players there, forlornly. They must be very disappointed also. But I think at this point that they will not begrudge this particular county to Castlehaven, because the early signs were that, well, they didn't take their chances when they were there begging for them in the early 10-15 minutes of the game, when they might have gone into a 6 or 7 point lead. Well, they were held pegged back at a 1 point lead, and it was in actual fact Castlehaven taking the initiative. But on the change around, of course, the men from St. Finbarrs tore back into the game to level up the scoring, and then go 2 points in arrears, and then bring it back to one on a couple of occasions. But despite having a late opportunity for levelling up the score, they couldn't quite get that equalising point as they make their way forward towards the McCarthy stand. And there indeed is Larry Tompkins. Alongside him is the chairman of the Cork County Board, Mr. Dennis Conroy, and he will present the Andy Scannell Cup to a joyous Castlehaven captain.
given a chance by some, but at last proved their worth and have won a Cork County Championship. This team who came all the way 10 years ago in this park, they were beaten to 4 points in the county championship. But this year, they have won by 2 points. A great team, winners of a great championship. In presenting this cup to Larry, it gives me great pleasure to present to a great footballer, a one worthy of this trophy.
Larry Tompkins gets his face white because there's a little trickle of blood from his mouth there all the time, but he won't take any notice of that as he holds the Andy Scannell Cup aloft, much to the joy of all of those people indeed. And
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, Castlehaven, what can I say? Probably this year has been a terrific year for me. To win the All-Ireland and to win this cup, the County Cup, I set out to do in '87. I had to wait 3 years, and hopefully you today are delighted that we have the cup today, 3 years ago. There's a lot of people I'd like to thank, including the whole of Castlehaven committee and our selectors, Derry Donovan, Tim Joe Regan, and a special mention to our trainer who put in fantastic work, Pádraig Burke. Thank you very much. Also, I'd like to thank the committee, the 2 women that used to come down and make us tea and sandwiches from last January, Kathleen Cleary and Nora Maguire. Thank you very much. And most of all, I'd like to thank you, the supporters, who has believed in us for the past 10 years. We were here 10 years ago. I don't remember it, but I heard about it. We came back, and we said we'd win a county, and here we are. Also, to make a great game, I'd like to thank St. Finbarrs. I know they won't begrudge Castlehaven their victory because down the years, the Finbarrs have shielded Castlehaven on numerous occasions. So I say to Finbarrs, thank you very much for a hard, tough game, and we hope to meet you again probably next year. And finally, I'd like to finish and give St. Finbarrs 3 cheers. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. Thank you very much.
well, as arguably the best footballer in Ireland walks away with the Andy Scannell Cup and is congratulated there by the members in the VIP as the Castlehaven players make their way forward for the presentation ceremony. They, of course, will remember this day here in Cork. Dark and dank though it is, it will shine in their memory like a jewel. And as they move westward tonight with joy, the unbridled passion, the 10 years of waiting will all be forgotten, because tonight they will be the county champions. They will remember '89 because they became the county champions in the year that Cork won the All-Ireland. And who indeed, more importantly for them, than that man leading the charge there, Larry Tompkins, who perhaps was as responsible for Castlehaven winning the county and Cork for winning the All-Ireland. With me now I have from Castlehaven, of course, Padraig Burke, their trainer, coach, and indeed a selector of the team also, of course, and also the chairman of the Castlehaven club, Ned Cleary. Can I say to you, gentlemen, first off, very many congratulations. I know it's a day that you've long waited for. Is that true, Ned?
That's perfectly true. I never thought this day would come. I think I can die happy now since it has come. But we have been there or thereabouts since we went up senior in 1979 and suffered a lot at Bars and Nemo, and it's very, very sweet now to beat Bars in a final, I would say.
Padraig, for you, of course, it's been a long haul equally as well. Did you have doubts about it today?
No, I was fairly confident coming in today. Well, naturally we had doubts because we expected the conditions to be worse, in fact, and we thought the Bars being more physical that we'd have a tougher game than what it turned out to be. We were allowed to play football.
At half-time you looked to be in a kind of commanding position. Did you feel that you would have had an easier second half than you subsequently had?
No, generally speaking, that if you play very well against a strong wind, it takes the wind out of you. UCC beat us there about 5 years ago, and we had played a whale of a game in the first half, and they came along and beat us in the second half. We knew at half-time that we had a job to do in the second half just as much as we had done in the first half. There was no way we thought that the game was over.
This year, of course, Ned, is a particularly proud day, or today is a particularly proud day in the Cleary household, having already garnered an All-Ireland Senior Championship medal. Now you win County Senior Football Championship medals today.
Yes, it'll take a couple of days for that to sink in, but I am feeling very happy and proud for the team generally. I always look at the thing from the team perspective. I think it was great for Castlehaven. Since I've been involved with Castlehaven, Castlehaven were what I was interested in, not any personalities or...
A couple of worrying moments, though, there just towards the end of the game. You were very... well, St Finbarrs might well have got a goal in the last minute.
Yes, I must pay great credit to our backs generally. I think the backs played terrific football because you don't usually keep players of the calibre of Bears without scoring a goal for a full hour. And I think there must be great credit due to our backs, the way they hunted and harassed and prevented them from getting a clear kick at goal. I think our backs, and Larry, of course, in the field was outstanding. And
if I can ask you, Padraig, about Larry, of course, is probably the most, well, he's the best known footballer in Ireland, if not the best footballer as well. Is he a good man to work with?
As he showed out there today, and he showed against Duhallow, he's a tremendous team player. And he played team football out there 100%. He gave the ball every time, and he's a brilliant player, outstanding player, and I think when he blends in with the team like he is now and will do in the future, that it will be all the better for Castlehaven because he's a super player.
Well, gentlemen, I know you have a lot of celebrating to do from here on, and I'm quite sure that in Castlehaven the next couple of days will be put down to celebrating in particular. Once again, congratulations to you both, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Thank you very much.
Well done, MC, bye, well done. Larry Tompkins, this must surely be one of the greatest moments in your life, to captain a team from West Cork to a county senior football championship final.
Yeah, it's hard to say what way I feel now. It's just tremendous, you know. We said at the beginning of the year, you know, this was going to be our year. The draw was on our side. We got a bit of luck, and you know, today we just fought very, very hard, and it's delight for everyone in Castlehaven because, you know, down there it's a religion, and it's just tremendous, you know. It's just tremendous.
Larry, one thing I must say that you played no small part in that achievement there today. You absolutely played your heart out as if you were born and reared and brought up down in Castlehaven.
Well, you know, when every one of these lads, like we set out in January, like training, and the way these lads' commitment has been just tremendous. And you know, you just, when you get in there and muck in, and you just play your part, and that's what I did today, you know. And you know, everyone just threw everything into it, and I'm just delighted for everyone, the lads, you know.
Larry, once again, congratulations.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. An achievement I don't think that'll be surpassed for a long time, to train a team from West Cork, west of the Viaduct, to a county senior football championship final.
It's hardly believable. That's true. It is. We know we were in with a great chance at the beginning of the year. We were hoping to meet Nemo, to be honest, and I thought we had a better chance of beating Nemo than the Bears, because The Bears are more physical. Like, we came in very confident in today to win the game. But our first half performance knocked a lot of the steam out of the team. I thought, no, you know, that they played fantastic football in the first 20 minutes. And I think it told in the second half. We could have played better in the second half. But still, we did it. Conditions weren't as bad as we thought they'd be. We thought there'd be a gale of wind. We thought the ground would be very, very wet. And conditions were good enough, I thought.
How long will the celebration last?
We want to have 15 sober fellas anyhow out for the next game. That's one sure thing.
Padraig, great credit due to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Nations over the next couple of weeks and all well-deserved. The great success we've had over the last 10 years, I want the Bears to be the first to wish you the happiest congratulations. You were outstanding today. You've played great football for a long time without much reward, and to be very hard on the Bears to grudge you your glory. Well done, lads.
Tim Joe, one of the comments that was made to me at the start of the year that they made you selector, see would you ever give up playing. After seeing you out there today, I think you played more than any man's played.
It was beautiful out there today. All the 15 played very well. The only thing I'm sorry about fellas like Christy Collins, Dinty Collins, Bernard Collins, Anthony Collins, John Richard, other fellas that weren't part of it today, and Michael McCarthy and Liam Connell. It was a whole team effort, and I'd like to thank Paddy Buck especially for making it possible. We have an outstanding captain as well in Larry Tompkins.
Thank you very much indeed, and congratulations, you deserve your medal. As one of the elder players on the team today, and remembering 1979, your comments at this stage.
The difference is unbelievable. 79 we were inside here crying today. We were in crying for different reasons. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Well worth looking forward anyway. Well, unbelievable and well worth waiting for.
Well done, and congratulations.
Thanks very much.
I'd like to congratulate Phil Marvellous. I was dedicated follower out there than any other Phil Marvellous victory, and the word go is Tory for the game. I was say Tory played possession football, played around against the wind, and it worked wonders in the end. I think definitely your captain there, Larry, proved that he is a man apart, and it was marvellous to watch him. That he had 14 or 15 others as well, but it was marvellous to watch him.
All right, can we get knife?
Bishop Buckley would now like to say a few words.
Just talk.
Gentlemen, I won't keep you. I just want to say that it was a tremendous performance by Castlehaven. I am taking some of the credit because during the week I visited the secondary schools in West Cork and Skibbereen and so on, and I told them that I would be giving a special blessing to the team. So it was a magnificent performance. Congratulations to everyone, to your great chairman Ned Cleary and your secretary and your trainer Paddy Buck and all who have been associated with it. As a West Cork fan myself, I share in your great moment this evening. Thank you all very much.
Lads, it's the kind of an evening where you just can't get words to say. It's just simply fantastic. To think that 1973 is only, 16 years back, and to think that Castlehaven would have come from West Cork Junior Champions to be County Senior Champions. One of the smallest parishes in West Cork, and that's one tremendous achievement. And your dedication has been great, your sportsmanship has been great, and we're all delighted. And we'll celebrate for a whole week in West Cork.
Niall Cahalan, another man apart. If you go back to last May, when you injured your leg in that Kelleher Shield game against Skibbereen, Niall, at this stage it must be just unbelievable.
Oh, that's great feeling. This is what I always live for. I remember up in the stand here in '79, watching Dinty Collins there now and the rest of the lads, you know, and they done us proud that time, you know, getting to a county final. And today I hope we done everyone in the parish proud, and we're going to hang on to that cup for another 10 years.
Niall Cahalan, thank you very much indeed, and congratulations, Niall.
From Páirc Uí Chaoimh, an overjoyed small club from West Cork are celebrating their victory tonight. Castlehaven are county champions. From Páirc Uí Chaoimh, a very good afternoon to you.